We'll call this meeting of the Common Council to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kraus.
Here.
Roth.
Here.
Byer. Here. Peachy.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Randall's absent. Lars.
Here.
Horn.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, we'll entertain public participation. Anyone wishing to address the council may do so. We ask that you do so from the podium. State your name and address for the record, please.
Mike Saleska, 140 South Dewey Avenue, Jefferson. Recently, I just sold a property that was on the tax roll for $153,000, and all I was able to get for it was $130,000. I'm wondering if there's some way that our city can protect the people from our assessors for over-evaluating the cost of our properties. You know, to make it more fair. I mean, I don't mind paying my fair share of taxes, but when I can't sell a property for what it's on the tax roll for, that doesn't seem right to me. It seems, you know, it's kind of like fraud in a way. I mean, I know we have ways of trying to lower our taxes and going to the board and complaining about the valuation, but once you sell, you don't know what your house is worth until you sell that. You don't know what that property's worth. Maybe we could make a way to make the either A, the government, or B, the assessors, I don't know, how do we say, liable for that difference. That's something we can maybe look into to protect the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saleska. Anyone else?
My name is Nick Chipman. I reside at 415 West Steel Street. The concern I have is I don't know if it's poor judgment on the city's Department of Public Works for snowplow removal, but this morning alone, I could not even get up the hill on Highway 18 heading towards the schools in a four-wheel drive full-size truck with 600 pounds in the back because there was so much ice buildup on the road. In front of the schools, there was nothing plowed, nothing salted. This isn't the first occasion. All winter long, it seems like when the city plows do decide to drop sand or salt in the intersections, they simply pull up to the stop sign, turn on the thing, so as soon as they drive across the intersection, it's salting, but when the nose of the truck hits the stop sign on the reverse or the opposite side of the road, they shut it off. That doesn't do any driver any courtesy of stopping at a stop sign. You're essentially coming to a stop in the middle of the intersection as opposed to at the stop sign. I've almost been hit multiple times due to poor road conditions. A lot of times if I do see the city plows driving around, the plow is up, the bed is down, no salt, no sand, and yet there's still snow on the road. I'm just wondering if we can possibly talk to whoever's in charge of plowing to potentially get out ahead of the storm, ahead of school, Main Street, the main roads, at least the main thoroughfares. I understand side roads, get to them later, but Main Street was not plowed as of 8 o'clock this morning, nor was Highway 18 as of 8 o'clock this morning. Those are business hours. It is a safety factor to the public as a whole. So,
Thank you.
if you could address that, that would be great.
Sir, I didn't catch your name, please.
Nick Chipman.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? There being none, at this point, I'd like to submit for the confirmation a mayoral appointment of municipal judge. Whereas the City of Jefferson unanimously voted to discontinue the Central Jefferson County Municipal Court on October 21st, 2014, and that the other municipalities that were part of the Central Jefferson County Municipal Court were also asked to review and pass similar resolutions to abolish. The Village of Johnson Creek did so on December 29th, 2014. The Town of Sumner did so on November 10th, 2014. The Town of Ashland did so on November 12th, 2014. Whereas by law, any qualified person electing to run for the municipal court for the City of Jefferson must take out nomination papers and file the same on or before December 1st, 2014. Whereas Judge Joanne Miller was the only person to timely file nomination papers for the municipal court for the City of Jefferson spring election in April 2015. Whereas in order to preserve of the authority of the municipal court of the City of Jefferson, an ordinance creating the court should have been passed by December 1st, 2014, or the time nomination papers were due. Whereas to correct the technicality, I, Mayor Dale Opperman, move to temporarily appoint Joanne Miller as a judge for the municipal court for the City of Jefferson pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 8.50 parent 4 FM. The appointment shall continue until the next spring election, 2016, at which time the then-elected judge shall serve for the residue of the unexpired term. Now therefore, I, Dale Opperman, subject to the confirmation by the Common Council, appoint Attorney Joanne Miller as the judge of the municipal court for the City of Jefferson, effective May 1st, 2015, and I would entertain a motion to confirm.
Also move.
It's been moved by Alderman Peachy,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Horn. Any discussion? Is this a voice or? On a roll call vote, please signify by saying aye if you approve, no if you dissent, as the clerk calls your name.
Ruth.
Aye.
Dwyer. Aye. Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Horn.
Aye.
Kraus.
It's unanimous, thank you. Next, we'd like to welcome Superintendent Craig Gerlach from the Jefferson School District. Welcome, Mr. Gerlach.
Thank you so much for your time this evening. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about our school operational referendum on April 7th, and I'm very cognizant that this is your meeting and you have a full agenda, so I'm going to go through my presentation and field any questions when we get done. I appreciate having the opportunity to go first. We do have a boys basketball game that just tipped off at 7 o'clock against Milton for the regional semifinals that I'm going to be going to when I complete this. And also, I am fighting a cold, so if I have a coughing attack, please excuse me. My main goal here this evening is to get the word out that we have an operational referendum coming up, and then have the opportunity for people to understand why we're doing this. Our mission statement in our school district is about a partnership with the community. The municipality here this evening certainly is a significant part of that community, so we can continue our environment of excellence and opportunities. And that's really what this is. It's maintaining the opportunities that we have for kids. We're fortunate in the school district of Jefferson to have, I think, a great school district with great people, great families, and opportunities for the kids, and we simply need to maintain that as we move forward. Why are we going to go to referendum? It ties into our revenue limits. I know that I apologize because there are a couple, a handful of people that have listened to this probably at least once, some twice, maybe 3 times. Revenue limits go back to 1993, at which time Governor Tommy Thompson implemented limits based on school spending. So we talk about school spending as it relates to how many dollars do we spend per student. That's the comparison. In 1993, the school district of Jefferson spent about $500 below the state average. 20-some years later, it's the same system. We spend about $500 below the state average. There were schools in 1993 that took $1 million out of their fund balance to increase spending, so they would increase their cost per student, knowing they were going to get locked in at that time. Just one example of a funding formula that was not that's broke, and there are several other examples. Yet it's the system that we have. I think what we're seeing right now as it relates to state funding, and I hear the legislators stating this. It has changed over time. The state of Wisconsin is going to give a minimum amount of money in the state budget, and they are going to then look towards local school districts, i.e. school boards, to make decisions to go to referendums depending on what they'd like above and beyond that local funding. We'll get more into that a little bit down the road. This is about maintaining our programs. I can't be clear enough. We aren't going out and adding positions and creating new programs. We've cut about $5 million over the past 6 years. This isn't about bringing that stuff back. It's simply about moving forward and preventing from having to continue to make cuts. We also need to compete with our neighboring school districts. and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we move through here. And of course, it's imperative that we, when we have the ability to hire new staff, that we can attract them. And of course, we want to retain the very best staff that we have. Our Board of Education took this very seriously, and we have two board members here tonight. Dick Lovett is over here, and Terry Winkman, thanks for coming. This wasn't just a decision that was made overnight. They put a lot of time into whether or not we're going to go to a referendum, whether or not we're going to go through a budget reduction cycle, and how much, if we go, will we go to? Do we ask for what we need? We need $950,000 over the course of 3 years. Do we ask for less? Because maybe we'll stand a better chance of passing it, but then we'll still have to cut? Or do we ask for more because we don't know what's going to happen in the state budget? And they decided to ask, to put on the ballot $950,000. We believe, now there's some issues going on with the state budget right now that is out of our control. That aside, we're moving forward with a referendum to exceed the revenue limit by $950,000. I encourage you, this is a video that we're not going to view this evening. I encourage you to go on our website. There's a link on that literature. All of this information, along with this video, along with other information that will not be presented tonight, is on there. It gets it more in depth regarding this. Again, my goal is for people to understand how people vote. Out of my control, it's out of your control, it's out of the school's control. But I want people to, first of all, understand there's a referendum happening, and then B, why are we doing it? It's about maintaining our programs. This is what we stand for in the school district of Jefferson. We have 5 priorities that we emphasize, and we put a tremendous amount of effort in from individual school buildings as well as districts. First and foremost, we're about student learning. We have goals specific to reading and math and growth as it relates to reading and math. Our student enrollment, we have an open enrollment issue in the school district. We're putting energies and we're emphasizing how do we deal with our enrollment problems, open enrollment problems. This is our first year. Our goal is to decrease our loss, net loss, by 25%, which is very aggressive. This year alone, we decreased our net loss by 27%. Which tells it's not a trend, but it certainly is moving in the right direction. 21st century skills are obviously very important. Budget and operations, that's really why I'm here tonight. And we also focus on school climate, whether it be climate for the classroom and the children, or as well as our staff. This is our report card from this past year. This is put out by the Department of Public Instruction. You can see on the left our district scored 75.9%, which exceeds expectations. Our high school scored 81.8. That's the highest score of any high school in Jefferson County. That's higher than Kettle Moraine right now. So we're real pleased with our academic performance within the school district of Jefferson. And you can see when we go into a couple other slides, we're performing well, and we're really putting the least amount into per student education. This is area schools that have balanced their budget over the past years with a referendum. You can see Fort Atkinson, Whitewater, they renewed a referendum last spring in 14. That was to cover their original in 2012 respectively. Cambridge, Deerfield, Marshall. School districts are now going to rely on this. As I stated earlier, the state's going to give us a base level, and then we as a school district and the community have to decide what we're interested above and beyond that. I went through an operational referendum about a decade ago in the GET school district for 5 years. That was common. We're going for 3 years, which is more common today. My fear, we're going to be doing this every year, and districts that are not involved with an operational referendum over the next couple of years will be involved with referenda. Our revenue comes, majority of our revenue comes from the state of Wisconsin. You can see the maroon, 57% of our revenue for public education comes from the state, 33% comes from local taxes, 9% other. The majority of that 9% is federal aid in entitlements. This is also very skewed. It's based on property values. We get 57% state aid. Nicolay, which is Glendale, affluent suburban Milwaukee, gets zero aid because their property values are so high. Well, that makes sense. Northland Pines, which is in Eagle River, gets zero state aid. Their poverty level's higher than Jefferson, but they have these very expensive homes and cottages on these beautiful pristine lakes that have very significant property values, but the people that own them live in probably Milwaukee, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Just another example how faulted the public finance system is in Wisconsin. This is our revenue limit over time. You can see in 9-10, our revenue limit was $9,800. All the way to the right, it's $97. There's a significant dip as it relates to 11-12. That was a reflection of Act 10 when public school employees were required to pay 50% of their WRS retirement as well as health care contributions, which quite frankly is something that we needed to do. Yet that didn't fix the problem because the increases over time have not kept up with expenditures. And of course, you've all heard it before. You know, well, if your expenditures are too high, cut your expenditures. We can't control our revenue. If you can't control your revenue, you need to cut expenditures. You need to live within your means. I get that. I really believe as a school district, over time in the school district of Jefferson, we have been frugal. You know, we have been cutting back. Yet we're to a point now, we just, quite frankly, we can't maintain what we have and continue to cut back. This is our revenue limit per student comparisons. You can see to the far left, that's Lake Mills. They spend the least per student. The far right is Cambridge. They spend the most. These are Jefferson County schools. State averages in the middle. Jefferson second from the bottom. We spend second from the bottom in terms of dollars per student. If we spent the state average, just the state average, that's all I'm asking for, that's $1 million. I asked Senator Noss to look at that. Without having to go to referendum, could you not pass some legislation that simply would say that you can spend up to the state average without going to a referendum? To me, that sounds fair. We're not asking for more than. Yet that's a whole nother story. Point I'm trying to make is if we spent the state average, I wouldn't be here tonight. We would have a balanced budget. And that goes back to the revenue limits in 1993. Property tax per student. This is the amount of money local property taxes go towards each particular student. You can see Jefferson has local support at $47.82. Cambridge is up on top. Now keep in mind, Cambridge and Whitewater and Fort Atkinson they've all gone to operational referendum, so their spending is going to be higher. But the point is we have to compete with these school districts. It's difficult to compete and maintain programming when other districts have a higher level of expenditure per student. This is our reduction over time. As I stated earlier, over the last 6 years, we've reduced our budgets by close to $5 million. And quite frankly, we can't continue to do that without reducing programs. That's the question itself. That'll be on the ballot on April 7th. It allows the school board to authorize up to $950,000 for operations for 3 years. That's non-reoccurring. It's not base building. It isn't $950 this year and then you add $950 more. It drops off each year. What that'll result in 3 years, it's going to result in a deficit of $950,000. We're able to maintain that because we have some other items coming off the budget. For example, there's some post-retirement benefits for some retirees that will be coming off our books that will free up some dollars. We no longer have that particular program. And this is what most people are interested in, and that's the impact that it has on the mill rate. You can see that the mill rate impact is $1.08 on a 100,000 or per thousand. So a $100,000 valuation would have a tax increase of $108, and of course you can prorate up or down depending on one's personal property value. Questions, comments? Was that clear? If you have groups of people that want more information, I'd be happy to sit down and meet with them. I can go there. They can come to my office. There's plenty of stuff on the internet or on our website. Again, my goal is to have people understand what they're voting for when they go to the booth. Okay? Again, can't thank you enough for your time. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gerlach.
Thank you.
And best of luck to the Eagles tonight.
You bet. We should win this one.
Next, we'll have a presentation by Dr. Todd Goldbeck on his plans for the construction of the Excel Sports Complex.
Microphone. Well done, Mr. Gerlach.
Okay, thanks for having me. I guess I'm here just to give you some overview of the new XL Sports Complex. We're in the process right now of going through the city procedures and getting approved for various things. Next week we're on the agenda to get our preliminary CSM looked at, and so hopefully that'll go through. And our architect and civil engineer have been working with Bill down here to make sure that we dot all of our I's and cross all of our T's. So I guess what I'll do right in front of you right now is the first page there is just the overall floor plan of the facility of Phase 1. And so Phase 1 is 42,000 square feet. And as you look at it right there, the track is on the upper side right there. It's going to be a two-level type building. So the big field house area would be just like a school. The big part of the school is 2 stories high, and so that'll be the gymnasium and the track and the batting cages and all that. And then if you look at that last page, I think there it'll show you a cross-section of what that building's going to look like. So there's going to be a bigger 2-story area, and then the area in front that has all the smaller stuff will have a lower roof line there too. So we're working with a building manufacturer right now on specs and things like that for that building. So that's how it's going to look. The big main area is 2 stories, and then the stuff that wraps around the outside is going to be 1 story. As far as things that go into the facility, unique things, we're going to have a 24/7 fitness center. So you see that kind of along the bottom there. It's going to be a real big fitness center. People can come and go whenever they want. You got the key cards whenever you want to come in and the building is closed. When the building is open, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., the inner doors will be open and you have access to the rest of the facility anytime you're there. The track, the indoor walking track, running track, it's a really unique situation. I found out that in our feasibility study and everything that we did is that there's, besides Princeton Club East and West, this will be the only privately owned track in the state of Wisconsin. If you think about college field houses and high school field houses and such, they're not private. You know, those are schools that own those, and you can't buy memberships for things like that. And so this is going to be a unique thing. It's really important for me, especially. I got a lot of patients that have knee surgeries and different things, and you know they start exercising in February and March, but it's too cold out and it's too dangerous outside to walk and things like that. So we're going to sell discounted memberships to people that they can just walk or run if they want to come inside when it's cold out. And so I think that'll be a big benefit. The inner part of the track is going to be all artificial turf, so that'll be all curtained off. It'll be all turf, and then we see our batting cages in there. We'll have 5 baseball, softball batting cages, which can be elevated up out of the way so we can use that big turf field for anything that we want. We want to play football or baseball or soccer, whatever that we want. Those cages will rise up out of there. One thing we did is we wanted to make sure that we had 2 full regulation basketball courts. So those are high school, college regulation size so that we can host some tournaments. We can take some of our youth basketball programs and take some of the load off the schools. It's really frustrating to have our youth kids, 5th, 6th, 7th grade practicing at 9 o'clock at night at the high school and the middle school when the varsity team is done and games are done, and so we're going to be able to take a lot of load off of there, and so we're working with the youth organizations for that, and so there's a lot of room in here. This is a pretty condensed down building, but if you're familiar with like the Catchell Center in Whitewater, the big indoor track that they have, you could take Catchell Center and stick it inside this building, so it's pretty big. It's a big track, 2 full courts. It's got space in between the 2 basketball courts, 10 full feet where you can sit back to back with the teams and the head table and stuff, and so we'll be able to run some nice tournaments there. The fitness center, again, down on the bottom there, 24/7. And then we got a golf area too. We'll have 5 golf cages where you can just go and hit golf anytime you want, whether it's cold or warm outside, whatever. You'll have golf there. We're going to have one of the golf virtual simulators, so you can come in and hit on a virtual simulator. So that'll be kind of cool. And then designated yoga area, so we'll have the infrared lights in there so we can do the hot yoga classes or just any kind of classes in there. Some people have expressed interest in having, ballroom dance and things like that, so that'll have that nice flooring in that room that we can do some different class things. Locker rooms, men's and women's locker rooms, reception area. As you see, the entrance to the building is in the far lower right-hand corner, so that when we expand, when Phase 2 comes, this is 42,000 square feet. Phase 2 is going to add another 90,000 square feet. And so we're going to expand off to the right and off to the top. We're going to add 8 more basketball courts, 4 indoor tennis courts, and 4 racquetball courts, as well as extending this bottom line of features there, the fitness center. That'll all extend out. We'll have more locker rooms. We'll have kitchen, concession area, so we can run bigger tournaments for volleyball and basketball and such. So at that point, when we go to Phase 2, that entryway is going to be right in the middle of the building. It's going to be right in the front. You go one way, you go the other way, and so it'll be very, very centrally located. So that's essentially the project right there, Phase 1. I did put on there on that second page there is the site plan, so it'll kind of show you how the parking is and how that's going to flow. There is obviously I'm a physical therapist here in town, and I don't want to confirm or deny any involvement with Watertown Hospital, but my PT practice is partnered with Watertown Hospital, and the plan is for me to move over there. And so we're working on some ideas right now for different things, but for sure I'll move over there with my clinic, and then we'll do some other things in my current PT clinic, like offer massage therapy and some wellness classes and things that might utilize a more quiet space over there. So my existing PT clinic will probably be at least my side of it. Chamber's going to stay right where they are. I still own that building, and so that's important to keep them in place, and so we'll do probably some different things with my clinic space right now when I move over there. I think that's about it. I think I covered it. We'll have, as far as features go, we'll have a regular fitness membership, so people can buy the 24/7 fitness membership just like they would anywhere else in town here, like a Snap Fitness or an Anytime Fitness. So they just pay a monthly fee, and they can come and go whenever they want. When the building is open, they'd have access to, shooting baskets or playing on the turf or walking or running, whatever, when the building is open. And then our boot camps, has been a staple of Excel's for quite a number of years now, and so we've had them going in Crick and Jefferson, and so we're going to ramp those back up now starting in April, so that we can build up to the building of this facility. And so people that have boot camp memberships, we're going to offer yoga classes and all these different exercise classes, and so that will be another level of membership there. So really 2 different types of memberships. We got the cages, the batting, the golf. 30 minutes, hour rentals, pretty typical as to what everybody else is doing.
Anyone have any questions of Todd?
Questions about anything?
I heard you mention something about volleyball, and I'm a volleyball official, like all over the state, Badger Region, USA Volleyball. Would you be able to run tournaments there, and how many courts would you be able to?
Yeah, we can fit 3 volleyball courts on those basketball courts. So yeah, so we'll have enough because if we overflow into the track right there, so we can take some of our club volleyball stuff right there too. Again, Phase 1 right now, it's 2 full basketball courts, and volleyball, it's not a ton. You know, when we go to phase 2 and we add 8 more basketball courts and we can put in 15 volleyball courts, obviously it's a lot more, but
Put the big tournaments.
yeah, right, exactly. I mean, we can compete, you know, head to head with anybody, anywhere as far as facility. But for right now, we can run some smaller basketball tournaments, you know, some local stuff, and we can run some smaller volleyball tournaments, you know, with local teams.
Yeah,
The
3
nice thing,
courts.
the nice thing about geography right here, you know, in the landscape of athletics is there's facilities out there that have tournaments in Milwaukee, that have tournaments in Madison and that, and they're not going to draw from the other side. You know, Milwaukee tournaments aren't going to draw the Madison kids. We're right in the middle, so we've got an opportunity really to draw from a lot of different places. And so some of our local teams, you know, they might choose to save some of their dollars and travel and not go to as many bigger tournaments, and maybe they add 1 or 2 smaller tournaments and invite some other smaller teams. So it's not an end-all to be-all, but it's certainly foot in the door for some of that volleyball stuff and basketball.
It's huge. If you
Yeah.
build it,
Yeah,
they'll come.
yeah.
Any other questions of Todd?
Question, just a comment, hope this works out, it'd be sure be an asset to the community and the county area, so good luck and see something moving on this.
Thank you. So I guess meeting with a question for me to you guys. So, you know, we just talked with the RDA, I think, last week, and then, so the process is, you know, from today, then you guys take this, well, I mean, this is TIF related, is that correct, on what you guys do from here, or how does that, you know, Tim?
Well, at the end of the day, I would just say that Todd has inquired about tax increment district financing assistance, primarily to deal with some of the utility extensions because, quite honestly, that whole west side area is pretty underserved with water and sewer, and that's something that we're taking a look at. We have talked with John Spangler, who owns a fair amount of that acreage around the fair park, and we have some additional discussions with John and some of his family members, and he does have an interest, I think, in trying to develop a part of the holdings that he owns, and so we're trying to work with him. We're also trying to work with the fair park. Of course, property that John owns also is the likely path of expansion for the fair park someday, and I think it's just too soon to know whether or not that's anything that can be put together. But to facilitate all those things really probably does take a tax increment district to be able to extend sewer and water up into that area, and that's something we're taking a look at with Todd. Now, to answer Todd's quick question in terms of what local approvals he's going to need to start, he needs a fair amount of local approvals, most of which can happen relatively quickly. He needs to have a certified survey map for the approximately 5 acres that he'll be purchasing from Mr. Spangler. I think that's an item that the Plan Commission will consider in the next couple of weeks. He also is going to need to rezone that property. Doesn't have the right zoning to permit this particular use, but that typically follows the certified survey map approval. And then lastly, when he does have his architectural design done, he'll need to get a site plan review by the Plan Commission as well. Those are typically the 3 local approvals Todd's going to need. In terms of looking at the tax increment district, that'll be an issue that we'll be talking about with you going forward. We just need to contact some of the additional property owners to see what might be practical going forward for that west side of the community.
Perfect, perfect. A couple of things about this facility. Obviously being a local kid, from Sullivan here and going to school here, one of the biggest things for me, is building something that I wish that I would have had in school. I was a jock in school and, would have loved to hang out at the gym all the time and do that kind of stuff. So because of that, every single person that's had any kind of investment into this is from our Jefferson community. No outside people, nobody outside of our Jefferson area, nobody outside of our school district area. Every single sub that's working on this project is also from our community. I've not allowed any outside bidding from anybody. Everybody that's working on this literally is from our community right here. And so super important for me to lay that out right up front with everybody. And so and every single sub that's working on this has also agreed to be part of an investor in this, and so that they're vested in this project in the community in which we're going to build it. And so I'm really proud of that, and I hope it all goes well.
Excellent.
Thank you, Todd. Move on to the consent agenda for tonight. Resolution number 108. Alderwoman Byer, please.
Honorable Mayor, council members, and citizens, City of Jefferson Resolution Number 108. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the consent agenda for March 3rd, 2015 is hereby adopted. The consent agenda for tonight includes vouchers payable for March 2015 in the amounts of $229,101 and payroll summary for February 2nd, 2015 in the amounts of $140,877. Council minutes from February 2nd, 2015 meetings of the Common Council. Licenses as approved by the Regulatory Committee. We had 2 operators license, one for Nick Browski for Jefferson Gulf, one for Fletcher Jacoby for Sitco, and then we also had a 30-day temporary license for Samantha Gottinger for Speedway, and then I'd ask that she comes back on the March 31st meeting. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kraus. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye as Rita calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Fire.
Aye.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Horn.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Ruth.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 106, a resolution authorizing an agreement with the Jefferson Area School District for the lease of Fisher Field. Alderman Lars, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution 106, be it resolved by the City Council in the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the city administrator is authorized to execute the agreement between the City of Jefferson and the School District of Jefferson for the lease of the property known as Fisher Field, and is guaranteed that the said property will be available for use by the city for 5 years, for a 5-year period. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Byer. Discussion?
This
Yep.
is the same lease, pretty much same lease we've always had, other than the price has gone up to $5.
Actually, it's,
The price has gone up, but it really hasn't, because it was $1 a year for 5 years. Now we're just paying the $5 one time.
simplifying it so we don't have to bring it back every year. Any-
Mr. Mayor, this did go through Park and Rec Commission. It was unanimous. Basically, the only changes you see in there are kind of language, trying to clean up some language, that type of stuff. That's it.
Okay. Was there any significant cost, additional cost to the city for taking out that language about both providing 2 workers to prepare the fields? There are no other questions or comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye as Rita calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
Horn.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Ruth.
Aye.
Fire.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 109, a resolution to accept the North Parkway bid. Alderman Horn, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members, citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 109. Whereas the City of Jefferson received 3 bids from contractors interested in completing the 2015 asphalt paving North Parkway project, and whereas the values of the bidding are included in the following table, there were 3 bids ranging from $370,562 to $497,897. Whereas the pre-bid engineering estimate for the base bid and ultimate bid was $376,030, and whereas monies for the projects have been allocated in the tax incremental district number 2 fund, whereas the city engineer reviewed the project bid results and recommends awarding of the base bid and ultimate bid to Payne Dolan Incorporated which is the low qualified bidder. Now therefore be resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that it herein approves the base bid for the North Parkway in the amount of $280,715 and alternate bid for a portion of East Perner Street in the amount of $89,847 for a total award of $370,562 to Payne Dolan Incorporated. Be it further resolved by the City Council that the City Administrator is hereby authorized and directed to execute any contract or document associated with the above action on behalf of the City of Jefferson upon the review and consent of the City Attorney. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Miller. Discussion. Bill, would you want to give us a summary of this, please?
Thanks, Honorable Mayor. We had talked about this at previous councils of the whole for TID 2 spending. The base bid on this was reconstruction of the pavement section on North Parkway. What we'll be doing there is removing existing pavement, putting back 5 inches of asphalt. We'll also be taking care of sanitary and water laterals to the 2 undeveloped lots currently along North Parkway. The alternate bid for this is doing the same thing without the laterals to East Purner from North Parkway over to Dewey. We were very satisfied with the 3 bids that we had come in, and compared to what our engineer's estimate was, we were right in the ballpark on that. So we've qualified the bid and made the recommendation for Payne and Dolan to construct it this summer.
Good.
This is unanimous at Streets.
It was unanimous at Streets.
And it was unanimous at Finance also.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions of Bill? Oh, Tim.
Right, I'm going to just ask you to pull this map out. It's this one right here. Have it in front of you, and I'm just going to talk you through this really, really quickly. As Bill mentioned, this is a tax increment district number 2 project. Here's some things that you should know. Through the end of this year, or by the conclusion of this year, the fund balance in that tax increment district will be about $450,000. Now remember, we're losing the investment or expenditure period in that district September of this year. So the projects that, I'm assuming you're going to approve this project tonight, the projects that you've approved for completion in 2015 prior to September, the loss of that expenditure period, are design engineering for Dewey. As indicated here, the estimated cost of that is about $48,500. The bids that you're being asked to consider tonight, the resurfacing of North Parkway and the resurfacing of Perner, come to collectively about $370,000. Taken together, the design engineering and these resurfacing projects, that comes to about, I'm just going to call it about $420,000. That leaves a little balance from the $450,000 we think our fund balance will be by the end of the year. So what we're hoping to do, and I think we'll talk about this at the next meeting, we want to change out the poor soils in the lot that's boxed in yellow, that's just south of American Weld. We don't have much land to develop up there anymore. Some of the land that we do has challenges. That site has bad soils. It's about $30,000. If we do that, that should take up the full $450,000 that we have available to spend this year. There is one additional project that I am going to talk to you about in a couple of weeks at the next meeting, and that would be to extend utilities, water and sewer, down Generac Way from its intersection with North Parkway to service that 5-acre parcel of property that has the lime green boundary. I don't know, when the city put the park in many, many years ago, it never extended utilities down there. You know, you can't develop that unless you can serve it with water and sewer. Bill thinks the cost to do that, assuming we don't have to rip up pavement, we can extend those utilities within the right-of-way off the pavement, is about $125,000. If we do that, and I'm going to suggest that we do, because I think we may need that property sooner than later for industrial development, it really means two things. One, we're going to use up our fund balance in that district, so the city, probably from its general fund, is going to have to basically extend $125,000, or think of it as a $125,000 loan, and recapture or get that repayment from next year's tax increment 2016, and basically pay itself back for out of that tax increment district. Now, the one thing that we'll do is, because we lose our expenditure period this coming September, and we had previously talked about, I don't know that we really discussed it, but we talked about abolishing the district prior to May of this year, and that would mean 2015 would be the last revenue year in that district. I would think if we do this, in order to be repaid back out of that increment, we'd have to keep the district open one more year and abolish it in May, or prior to May of 2016. But that's what I really think makes sense for us to do, and I'd like to talk to you about that at the next meeting. But surely the cash in that district exists to fund the improvements that you're being asked to consider tonight, as well as the design engineering on Dewey.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Tim or Bill? Being none, call the vote. All in favor of approval of the bids for North Parkway, please signify by saying aye as Rita calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Miller. Lars.
Aye.
Horn.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Roth.
Aye.
Beyer. Peachy.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 110, a resolution authorizing Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Director Keller to apply for a grant to assist for the purpose of increasing the boat dock facilities at Rotary Waterfront Park. Alderman Peachy, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Upperman, fellow council members, and citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 110. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the city administrator is hereby authorized to request assistance for purpose of increasing the boat dock facilities at Rotary Waterfront Park. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Jefferson authorizes the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Director Cindy Keller to act on behalf of the City of Jefferson to submit an application to the Wisconsin Waterways Commission for financial assistance, sign documents, and take necessary action to undertake, direct, and complete the approved project. Be it further resolved that the City of Jefferson will comply with state and federal rules for the programs, may perform force account work, will maintain the completed project in an attractive, inviting, and safe manner, will keep the facilities open to the general public during reasonable hours consistent with the type of facility, and will obtain approval in writing from the Wisconsin Waterways Commission before any change is made in the use of the project site. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kraus. Discussion? I will ask Parks Director Keller to give us just kind of a brief update as you did at the finance, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mayor Opperman. What we've been doing is we've been asked to submit a grant to the Wisconsin Waterways Commission to increase the boat docks at Rotary Park. Right now, we have 2 boat docks. This project, provided it gets funded, we will be able to increase up to 13 boats will be able to dock at our facilities. During our budget season this year, we did ask that $47,000 get budgeted in the TID number 2 budget. We did also receive a $10,000 donation from the Watertown Outboarders Club. What we're doing is we're asking Wisconsin Waterways Commission for 50% of the project, or $23,500. So if this does, in fact, get approved, then we'll be able to work through the process. We're hoping that our target date is to get these docks installed by June 20th for the family fun float so that we can actually dedicate them.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Cindy? Nope.
Mayor Upman, on the package here for harbor recreation, does this have to go out to bid, or?
Yes, it will have to go out for bid. This was just our estimate for budget purposes. Alderman Byer, did you have a question?
Yeah, can you explain how, I guess it's confusing to me.
Okay. The diagram that you have in front of you, the L-shaped portion is the original dock that we have right now. So then what we would be doing is we would be extending the docks to the north 125 feet, and then we would have 5 fingers of docking area that come out from the boat dock that will actually extend towards the west. Did I explain that correctly?
I think so.
So they're going to be like slips.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to them. Okay, now it makes sense. Yeah, all right. I got it turned around right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? There being none, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye as Rita calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Lars?
Aye.
Horn?
Aye.
Kraus?
Aye.
Roth?
Aye.
Byer?
Aye.
Peachy?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
It's unanimous, thank you. Resolution number 111, a resolution awarding a thickener drive installation for Jefferson wastewater utility operations. Alderman Kraus, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, and citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution number 111, awarding thickener drive installation for Jefferson wastewater utility operations. Whereas the Jefferson wastewater utility has purchased a new drive unit for the utility's gravity thickener, and whereas the wastewater utility wishes to procure services for installation of the drive units, and whereas the wastewater utility received 2 proposals from area contractors which meet the minimum service procurement requirement, and the wastewater utility superintendent is recommending an award of services from Sabel Mechanical LLC in the amount of $23,823. Whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed the proposals and concurs with the recommendation of the wastewater utility superintendent and recommends the same to the Common Council. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, does herein award the contract to Sabel Mechanical LLC for the replacement of the thickener drive unit. Be it further resolved by the Common Council that the city administrator is authorized to execute contract documents associated with this matter on behalf of the City of Jefferson upon the review and approval of the city attorney. I would so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Roth. Any discussion? Superintendent Clark?
What is a drive unit for the gravity thickener?
This is basically the dome in the middle of the treatment plant, circular clarifier where some of our biosolids go, and basically by using gravity thickens the sludge to dewater it before it goes into our digestion. The unit right now is the original unit that was installed in 1983, had a 20-year life expectancy, so we're on 33 years. It's in a very corrosive environment. Served us well, but it's time to replace it. We got a deal on one last year and just need a mechanical contractor to install it. There's some pretty heavy unit, some crane involvement, and
It's not something that we can do in-house as a...
no. Otherwise we would.
Any other questions or comments? No? Thank you, Ted. All in favor of approval of resolution number 111, please signify by saying aye as Rita calls your name. No if you're opposed.
Lars.
Aye.
Horn.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Roth.
Aye.
Meyer. Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution number 112, a resolution authorizing the engineering department to purchase a Trimble Geo GPS unit, accessories, and software. Alderman Lars, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, fellow council members, citizens of Jefferson. City of Jefferson Resolution Number 112, authorizing the engineer department to purchase a Trimble Geo 7X handheld GPS unit, accessories, and software. Be it resolved by the Common Council in the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that the engineer department solicited a proposal for the purchase of a Trimble Geo 7X handheld GPS unit in the amount of $11,675, which included the unit, accessories, and required software. Whereas the new GPS unit will be used by multiple city departments, including the engineer, public works, wastewater, and parks and forestry, for collection of additional GPS data and inclusion in the city GIS database. Whereas the budget for the equipment is included in the 2015 budget for the wastewater department and GIS fund. Now therefore be resolved by the Common Council in the City of Jefferson, Wisconsin, that herein authorize the city administrator to purchase the Trimble Geo 7X handheld unit, accessories, and software for the cost of $11,675. I so move.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Peachy. And discussion. This was reviewed at,
Did we, is this in addition to any other GPS system that we have?
So currently, the city has an Esri GIS system. What this unit would be the unit that we actually use to collect the data. Currently, we've got city water, sanitary, streets, and storm sewer in that system. Currently, as we have new construction or we need to collect additional data, what we need to do is consult. We need to hire a consultant. Typically, it's Town and Country Engineers. This is the unit that they use. When we hire them for approximately $1,500 a day to come out and collect data. What this would allow us to do is have each department go out and collect on their own. This summer, we'd be using that on Center Street. We'll also be using it to update our tree inventory. Eventually, we'll be putting all street signs on there, culverts, sanitary, curb boxes, everything like that. So over time, this will pay for itself fairly quickly.
Okay, thank you.
any other questions or comments? There being none, all in favor of approval, please signify by saying aye. As Rita calls your name, no if you're opposed.
Horn.
Aye.
Kraus.
Aye.
Roth.
Aye.
Meyer. Peachy.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lars.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Peachy, Mr. Miller, on a voice vote, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Good night.